Yeah, we can't tell time. We were just sitting here chatting. Forget all you people that showed up to watch us. Forget you. Forget you, all of you. Welcome back to What's on Joe Mind. This is the TeamStream. It's Thursday night. It's 9 p.m. Where else you going to be? You're going to be here on the TeamStream. Joe Colton is on assignment. She is at Operation Marriage.
Ooh.
Yeah, we'll give it a new nickname at some point. But joining us anyway, despite the thinning of our ranks, the honcho Mark Weber is here.
How's it going? Always good to see the crew, and especially our fill-in. I don't even say fill-in. Our patron saint, our sugar daddy. I'm not going to introduce him. That's your job. Wait, your job.
Yeah, other way. I was going to give him his own thing. I didn't need a segue.
Okay, well, whatever. Look, I'll just lob it up, okay? You dunk it if you want.
I've been doing this for 10 years, man. I think I'm going to just suddenly not know how to introduce my guests.
That's audio 101.
Has the show started yet? Have we?
I think so. I think this is part of it.
Shh, quiet.
See,
they'll hear you.
This is what we miss when we were doing the audio stuff. You know, this would normally be what we use for an outtake at the beginning of the program.
Yeah.
So that's but joining us in Joe Colton's place, the lovely and talented, although not quite as lovely. That's Bryan Lower down below. That is better known as HCC 788.
Good evening.
Got himself out of the live stream game just for us to put our hooks in and drag him back in.
Yeah. I thought it was out. They dragged me back in. I am Joe Colton for the evening. I do not look. I almost look as good in a skirt, almost, but I do not have such gorgeous and functional toes.
Mm-hmm.
That's a high bar.
Yeah, it is. So I will do my best as a stand-in, but I can never truly replace the one and the only.
All right, we will need to see your feet later on, apparently, because you've gone and made it a thing. So
right
now the people need to know. Now the public needs to know.
And what have you put in the Canada Dry can for tonight?
The Canada Dry can. I have no idea what you're talking about. I don't have it. What do you have in your Canada Dry can?
Right, Joe claims to be drinking Canada Dry, but we all know the truth.
Yes. Oh, the Canada Dry. I don't actually even have. You know, I would if I want to drink on a live show, I just drink on a live show. I have no qualms about that whatsoever. But I have no booze, no alcohol on me right now. You get the sober me. Sorry.
Mike, when was the last time we had 3 sober co-hosts on a show?
This may be the first time.
Hey, let's see how it goes.
This may be the first time.
If it doesn't go well, let's start drinking at 9:30.
Although when we had 4 hosts, it was usually a pretty good bet that 3 were sober then, but we weren't batting 1,000.
Yeah, that's fine.
Because we'd rotate that around. But we never really batted 1,000 on that. Joe Colton, I don't understand the Canada Dry thing, to be honest, because after so many instances of her just openly drinking large amounts of wine during recordings, I just, the switch to propriety, just it's baffling. It's baffling.
I think she was saving for the wedding because I think she gets some kind of northerner discount on Canada Dry.
Maybe. Hey, if she brings in that sweet ad revenue, then I'm okay with it.
That's what I'm talking about. Oh, there we go. Product placement.
There you go. Hashtag sponsored.
Hashtag 0 calories. Yeah. Hashtag full flavor.
Yeah, debatable.
Got any bourbon in it?
No, sadly. You two heard me open it right before we went on.
I didn't see you open it though. You could have.
True. That's
real
true.
Quick.
Magic.
I could have.
So we were discussing pre-show, of course, the best show, pre-show.
Yeah.
that we've received a few offers to be part of virtual events that we've had to kind of turn down. And we were lamenting that, it wasn't too long ago that Mark and I, if you just named a time and a place, we would go for some kind of live pod stream record, and your 12-hour live stream on Labor Day came up.
Yep.
And just, I mean, really, we were both available enough that we could have left that 12-hour record in a pool of its own blood.
Yeah. I'll by the way, I'll never do that again. It was funny, but look, I run out of stuff to talk about, and that's like even taking like extra long bathroom breaks and like, I'll be back in 10 minutes, and man, that's a long time. That's but I didn't have anything. It's not like I was going anywhere. I didn't have anything else to do, so I figured, why the hell not? Well, now I know why the hell not. So thank you to everyone who showed up. It was really nice to see everyone. I think there were a few people there for the entire 12 hours. Thanks. What is wrong with you? I don't know, but thanks anyway. But yeah, I don't have enough gas in the tank to sustain that. I think before that, the longest I had tried was like a 3-hour live stream, and I ran out of gas in about 2.5 hours. And that last half hour was it was not worth watching. So never again.
Here's the key right here. You need to do it up like the old Jerry Lewis telethons.
Not bad idea.
Yeah, I like that idea.
I tell you what, man, if you can get together a tote board, we'll join you.
I'll get a tote board.
We will be the Dean and Sammy to your Jerry.
Yeah. That sounds like a lot of fun. Which one? Hold on. Which one of you is Dean, and which one of you is Sammy?
I think
neither of you look like Sammy Davis Jr.
I think skin color and height make me Sammy Davis, obviously. Yeah.
All right.
Clearly.
Okay.
I'll be Sammy Davis for you, baby.
Like if you're looking at Sammy Davis Jr. at one of those old photo negatives, you pretty well get Mark Webber.
Pretty much it.
And I can attempt to sing a couple of lines of songs before slurring off into a beverage.
Sure, yeah.
So that makes me our Dean Martin.
Would make you Dino. Gotcha.
Correct.
Yeah.
says the guy who barely drinks. The only scale at which I'm an alcoholic is like on the Mark Webber scale.
That's right.
He's like the only guy I drink less than, or drink more than.
I'm high on life, baby.
Maybe Racktime Rob. I drink more than Racktime Rob.
Although Snake Eyes Dead Game may push him to drink.
I'm not entirely sure that it hasn't already.
I had the second issue is out, I guess. Is it?
Yes.
I've read the first issue. I haven't gotten to the second issue. I'm not highly motivated to get to the second issue, but
it's what I'll give it credit for is the first issue kind of gives you the beginning of a story, and then the second issue immediately starts to deconstruct that and leave you with nothing. So it's gone back to mess. I hate to say this about any G.I. Joe comic product, but I do have to say that, popular or no, this one's quality may not be quite up to the high levels that we're used to seeing with Paul Aller and Larry Hama.
I don't think anybody could have foreseen this happening.
It's stunning to me, frankly. It's shocking.
Yeah.
But whatever it lacks in quality, it makes up for in alternate covers.
That's right.
That is also what I've heard. Yeah, I've seen some alternate covers. Yeah,
it's like the old comic book saying, quantity of alternate covers is its own special quality.
I can't wait for the After Action Report Volume 12 that is just Dead Game.
That's just Dead Game issues 4 and 5.
Dead Game. Yeah.
Volume 11 is issues 1 through 3.
we're back in the 90s again. I mean, I just feel like, this feels like around 1993, 1996 ish. We've got all the covers. We've got the Rob Liefeld. We've got the, I feel I'm in a very 90s mood. I feel like Bill Clinton is president. I feel like, it's a whole different world. Having flashbacks.
I'm sorry. This may be, if I can get a clip of this frame right here, this may turn into our thumbnail on YouTube.
Yeah.
Perfect. If you like boring, you'll love Dead Game. Yeah.
It's not so good. It's 5 issues. Yes, it is 5 issues. So we are only 40% of the way through Snake Eyes Dead Game, not 50%. Oh no. Still a majority of the story left to go.
Well, you can't say that. A majority of the issues.
Yeah, that's true. Most of the story is probably already done.
Yeah. Once the series is done, I'll probably read it. I mean, I always try to give everything a chance. So if I have 5 minutes, I'll read the series when it's done.
Well,
are you reading? Go ahead, Mark.
I was just saying, we've been pretty clear about it. None of us are big Liefeld fans, but he still is a big name in the world of comics. So
absolutely,
any big name in the world of comics wants to be associated with G.I. Joe, come on down. Like, there's room for you. We could use the help.
That's exactly the way I approached it. I mean, I when it was announced, I was like, well, hey, this is it can get more eyeballs on G.I. Joe. That's great. I still I was probably drinking, and I had this hope that it would maybe even be good, but I don't know. I mean, I did read the first issue, and the first issue was not entirely without merit. But it was often without backgrounds. And
the what am I looking for? Like the spatial relationships of everything seem to be off. Like it.
Yeah. And I know that, like, Larry is friends with everyone. He's been in the industry forever, and I don't want to disparage one of his fellow artists, but in a lot of ways, Liefeld, his storytelling through imagery is like the anti-Larry Hama. There's an art to not just drawing the pretty pictures, but telling a story with them, and he doesn't seem to have improved very much from say about 1992 to 1994. I mean, you'd pick up an issue of X-Force, and it probably doesn't look that much different from what we're seeing now.
No, I believe our good friend Bobby Valla went on a tirade
Just a little one.
along those same lines. Just saying, you've been continually employed by the greatest comic book artists and companies of all time for 2.5 decades, and you haven't gotten the slightest bit better? That's crazy.
One of the things I like best about Bobby is his passion for things he works on and he cares about. But that is the easiest button to push in Bobby Valla's life, man. It is like it's like the biggest inflamed sore right on his nose. And every so often, you just got to go boop, just to see the Vesuvius go up, right? You shouldn't. It's not really good for anybody, but God, it's right there.
He is. He's watch him get all wound up.
Yep.
Yeah, I try to be kind, but Mr. Vala is not wrong. I mean, I remember I was around when that first wave of popularity of Liefeld came along with some other artists that were similar. I remember, and I remember at the time thinking, it's all flash and it's got so little substance. And when Liefeld started doing Youngblood, I gave him a chance because I was intrigued by this Image Comics thing that was new. And I could read an issue in like a couple minutes. I hate to dump on the guy. He's probably a nice guy, he's probably cool. He's probably nice to his friends and gives to charity and whatnot. But learn to draw a background, learn where people are in a room so that you can draw them, in relation to each other consistently, not just from page to page, but from panel to panel. Just try. If you're drawing this page and you've drawn this page before, go back and look at it and see, that hold on a second. In that page, the holster was on this side. So maybe on this other page, I shouldn't draw the holster on the other side. I don't know. Just call me crazy.
I put this comment up just to show that we are giving time to people who are enjoying Snake Eyes Dead Game. So they are out there. I'm glad that the book is scratching an itch for you and that you're enjoying it. It's going to be something that we tease about for a while. So
3 more issues.
Bear with us. Bear with us, Brian. Don't take it personally. We're sorry. Not you, Brian. Brian Lang.
I gotcha. Okay. And I'm not taking it personally either.
Well, maybe you should.
Well, maybe I will. And poking fun at Liefeld is it's an old favorite pastime, but there are worse artists. He is not the worst, not by any stretch. No. So that's it's he gets a lot of flack because he's a big name, but he's there's worse out there. It's all right.
I never ripped on artists very much because I can't draw. And so to me, even as a young comic book fan, there were very few guys that stood out. There was 10% that were great, 80% that were good, and 10% that I didn't care for. But for me, it was always about story. I'll take a good story written by an or drawn by an average guy over John Byrne drawing a terrible story.
I agree with that 100%. Yeah, I mean, a good writing can save bad art, but great art cannot save a bad story.
No, I totally agree.
And I think Mike agrees as well.
Yeah, sorry, I was reading something in the chat room there. But anyhow, so tell us about. I granted, everybody who's here and watching live probably already knows about your channel, but just in case we happen to touch somebody that you don't, that does not know about you, what's your deal, man?
Yeah.
Well, I tell you, I just love My Little Pony, and I just have to talk about it. I have to talk about it as much as I possibly can, bronies. I have this YouTube channel. I've been doing it for about 6.5 years. I talk about G.I. Joe, and I review each vintage item individually, and I go into as much depth as I can on each item. I try to talk about the history and its context in the larger toy line and any real world references that it has, and I just try to have fun with it. Occasionally, I tell some dumb jokes or do some skits and stuff like that. But yeah, it's pretty much GI Joe all the time. I like to have guests. Mr. Irizarry has been on an episode. Every year we do an event. Hold on.
Yeah,
that guy. Every year we do an event called Cobra Convergence. We spend a month just focusing on Cobra and kind of spreading the word about GI Joe and getting people involved and getting the community involved and just doing a big collaborative thing. And yeah, that's the long and the short of it.
Well, how often do you put up new videos?
Usually once a week, and I usually do it on Sunday. Although my production has slowed a little bit because I did start a new job, so that's taking a lot of my time away. But usually I'll upload a new full review video on Sunday at 4:00 Central Time. That's been my upload time for almost the whole 6 years. So usually, if you're following the show, you can reliably get a new episode every Sunday, unless I screw it up or I'm late.
Just in case.
Yeah.
Leave those what ifs out there just so you don't buckle under the weight of expectations there.
It has happened. It has happened. Things happen, but usually it's I try to get one up once a week. And I don't know, I think that it's not maybe everybody's cup of tea, because maybe not everybody wants like a 20-30 minute video about I don't know, Red Ninja or Night Creeper. But I think it's fun, at least it's fun for me, to take one of these figures or a vehicle and just see how deep I can dive into it, and what can I learn about it. In some cases that the pool is shallow, but in other cases sometimes you find surprising little gems looking at some of these lesser known figures. So the goal is to review every vintage US release toy from 82 to 94. I think I'm about halfway ish through that project. Still a long way to go, but once it's done, every single vintage item will be reviewed. And I'm looking forward to that final review when it's all done, and that the entire vintage GI Joe toy line will be you can find everything in one place. That's something that is a goal of mine, and I'll get there eventually. So, yep, that's the YouTube channel.
And thank you for not taking it all in chronological order, by the way. Because wow, that would get old. Yeah, I do themes each year, and this year is the year of the 90s. My idea was, if I get some of those 90s figures done and out of the way, then I'll be able to go back and spend some more time in the 80s, because if I don't know if you've seen the lineup for 1993, but it's a lot. They released a hell of a lot of stuff in 1993, and that, if I were to do it chronologically, 1993 could take up an entire year on its own. So yeah, we move around, and I try to have I'll have a theme for the year. Sometimes I'll have a theme for the month. I try to not review certain
popular characters more than once a year. So like one version of Cobra Commander in a year and one version of Snake Eyes in a year. So I'm not like, I don't have like a bunch of Storm Shadow reviews like all in a row. So I try to break it up. You know, I try to keep it interesting. I try to surprise. I try to like dive into areas of the toy line that maybe not everybody is as familiar with. Some of these weird sub teams and whatnot. You know, your space aliens and your mutants and what have you. So, you know, I try to change it up. I try to keep it interesting.
And currently we are in Ninja Month, correct?
We are in Ninja Month. We sure are. And Ninja Month in the year of the 90s. So they will all be ninjas of the 90s. So yeah, we got some fun stuff coming up if I can actually get it done. I'm a little behind on this next one. I got to get to work on it. But yes, all ninjas because everybody loves ninjas, right?
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
Especially 90s ninjas.
Especially, yeah.
So what I'm guessing here is at the beginning of the year, you declared this the year of the 90s. So is it safe to say that everything, this whole 2020 thing is your fault?
It's basically, and I've admitted as much. I accept the blame for everything. It's too late to change it now. But yeah, it's essentially as soon as I started turning things to the 90s, and as soon as the neon colors started coming in, the world just went in the crapper. And I, for one, feel this is not a coincidence, and I accept some responsibility for this.
It feels like the Echo Warriors should have been more help this year.
I haven't done. That's a good point. I need to get to the Eco Warriors. That's what's missing.
Could be.
But I feel that because I am partly to blame, that I will understand if anybody does not vote for me for president of the United States this year.
Fair enough.
I'll accept that. I'm not voting for myself.
I figured I'd write you in for a judgeship somewhere, right? Just groundswell.
Well, I was hoping for that, for that Supreme Court gig. They didn't even call.
So weird considering that you have a hood and everything.
Yeah.
See what I did there?
I would.
Yeah.
But
I'm glad you were able to fill in the gap because I'm not done blaming Bryan for the passing of Carl Reiner.
Yeah,
but
yeah,
it's on you, man. That's on you.
Yeah, it is. I won't even pretend. I don't know how I can make it up to you, but just wait until next year. Ooh, it's gonna be a doozy. You thought this year was something. Next year. Woo.
Well, going back to May, you were an instrumental part of our fundraiser. And so we wanted to make sure that we thanked you on the air for that. We really hadn't had a chance to do that with you here. Certainly we did thank you, when you weren't here, but I wanted to make sure we did it when you were here. For those of you who didn't know, back in May, we were still doing just audio. We did virtual JoeCon. It was essentially a charity event. We did a whole bunch of programming. You can go back to our audio links down in the description there, and you can listen to all the fun that we had there. There were some quality episodes, but towards the end of it, we were coming up a little short in our fundraising efforts, and you really took the ball, and you did a live stream. It was the last day of it, and you got us to the goal that we were looking to meet by really throwing it up there in front of your viewers and your listeners, and we need to thank you for that.
It's my pleasure, and thanks to those who donated and actually made that possible. I thought it was a good cause, and I felt like it was a reasonable goal, and I really wanted to help. Plans change, and there were some ideas that I had coming out of that live stream that plans for that will have to be adjusted. But I did promise some special content for that, and I will be working on that, and I will be doing that. But it was a lot of fun, and I'm appreciative to the viewers who tuned in and actually did the donating to get us above that mark. So thanks for giving me the chance to do it, and thanks to everyone who actually donated. That was a really good cause.
Well, I know one of the goals there was to have a particular guest host for a review. And what I would like to do, again, while you're here, is that in place of that person who is not going to be the guest reviewer, offer up the cast of What's on Joe Mind as your guest reviewer.
That is, you know what? Right now, live, I will accept that offer. I accept that offer right now, live. I don't even have to think about it. I think it's a great idea. I even know. I know what the project is. I'll tell you about it later.
All right. Poor Mark sitting there like, oh, wow, I didn't even talk about this. And,
this is my favorite part of the show, when we sign Joe Colton up for stuff that she's not even here to
in fairness, I have spoken with Joe Colton about this in the past. Oh, okay. So she actually knew about it before you did, and you're here.
That's fine. She's been here longer than me, but she's not here now. No. So let's sign her up for some credit cards. And some
I have already put her on all kinds of email lists since last Thursday. Yeah. She's getting all kinds of magazine cards sent to her place. It's gonna be a joy.
Now, she's not married yet, and no offense to the wrist lock, but if she gets an email from a Nigerian prince, perhaps with funds that need to be distributed, just saying, there might still be time.
She'll know it's legit because I actually know her real name.
That's a good point.
So that's how it's going to ring true to her. It's like, hey, nobody knows to call me that. This must be on the level,
right?
If it's a Nigerian prince. Yeah.
If it comes to Joe Colton, she probably can sniff it out right away, right?
Yeah.
But if it comes to Esther von Hugenstraben, she's like, this might be legit. Who knew?
Yeah, so you get an iffy email addressed to Joe Colton. She knows it's just some jerk who listens to our program, right?
Yeah, it'll end up on some creepy fanboy segment or something.
And that's fine, because we'll laugh at that.
Or it was meant to go to the German Joe Colton, who is a totally different person altogether.
You're gonna do that accent and get us into trouble, Mark Weber.
Quite possibly.
Our two listeners from Germany, they're upset now.
I'm Weber. You can call me Weber, right? I'm in the club, sort of.
I was wondering why your last name wasn't pronounced Weber.
Right? Should be.
Max Weber, the famous sociologist.
As long as it's not Weber. A couple times in my life I got called Weber, and I'm like, oh God, it's like nails on a chalkboard.
I was not expecting a Max Weber name drop in our TeamStream today.
Not bad.
That's all right. That's better than we normally do. That's normally we're name dropping like Dusty Rhodes. So Max Weber is certainly we're climbing that ladder a couple notches there.
And as soon as we name drop Dusty, Brandy shows up, which is weird, but okay.
Look, there's a rhyme and a reason to everything, right? Whatever. Who are we to judge, Mark Weber? Who are we to judge?
I guess that's fair.
So two instances of news this week, 35 minutes into the live stream.
Sorry.
Does Mark do the turkey call now or it's Morse code, right? Or is something
they kind of fight it out. I just let them, whoever does the news sound, they just get to do it.
It's her thing. I'm not trying to step on her except when her mic is muted or if she's drinking at the time. So I'm always ready. It's her thing, but I'm the able understudy.
So about 40% of the time.
If she's been drinking, then the Morse code spells out something totally different.
That's right.
The 5 o'clock show is completely different than the 7 o'clock show. But our first, chronologically speaking, our first piece of news was the release of G.I. Joe Operation Blackout. And that is available for PS4 and Xbox One, I believe, right?
Sure.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, which is great, but I don't have either of those systems, so I don't have the game. I don't know what's going on there. I watch YouTube clips of playthroughs and look at screenshots like all the non-gamer plebes. Mark Weber, same as you?
Yeah. I'm the exact same thing. I'm not a big gamer if you don't count EverQuest. And if you want to look up Weber Soze, Paladin of Mar on the Bristlebane server, you're more than welcome to. But yeah, that's all the video gaming I have time for, and I haven't had a new system in 5 years probably. So I can't play the game when it's supposed to come out on PC. So I'll get it when it comes out on PC. And kind of like Dead Game, anytime they want to make a G.I. Joe video game, more power to them. It's good. Anything's good for the brand. But the only feedback I have is what I've read, that it's kind of fun. It's not great. And the one thing I took out of the trailers and the stuff we saw ahead of time, boy, if they'd have just signed up the key original voices, it would have legitimized that game a whole lot more. Not that the current voices or the ones they picked were bad, but I mean, there's only a few iconic voices of Joe, and it wouldn't have taken a lot of work, or even I think that much scratch, to get Michael Bell and B.J. Ward and Arthur Burkhart signed up for it, and it would have made it so much more authentic. So that's my lone criticism for a game that I've never played.
Here's just as a quick side. I wonder if Joe Colton will look at this live stream after her marriage ceremony is done. LOL. And of course, the answer to that is.
I hope not.
Oh goodness, Joe Colton listening to the show. Get out of here.
Is she going to be Joe Whitlock or Colton Whitlock?
No.
Is he Wes Colton?
No.
Well,
no. I refuse to change her stage name. It's already a fake name. I'm not redoing our stationery.
I refuse to learn another one, so don't change it.
No. I guess that's fair.
No, as it is, like I said, I know her real name, and we call her Joe Colton because we don't need those circles of her particular Venn diagram intersecting.
Right.
But so I already have to keep that straight in my head. Like, oh, hey, it's showtime. I have to call her Joe now.
Yeah.
Can't call her by the other name. You gotta so I have to. The little partitions are down in my brain, and it's as it is. So I'm not messing with that even more.
I first met her as Joe, so she's always been Joe to me. Likely will always be Joe to me. But if she wants to be traditional and take her husband's last name, I'm fine with that.
I'm pretty sure that legally that is happening, but Joe Colton is not her legal name.
Well, I know, but
it's her illegal name.
I just want to see the German Joe Whitlock.
Here you go again, ticking off our 2 German listeners.
That's probably true.
Podbean tells us that we have 2.
Well, now we have 1.
Now we might not have 2 anymore.
Now we have 1.
But we're probably a lot more popular in the Netherlands.
I suppose that's true.
I don't know.
Where are our biggest international fan bases?
Our biggest international fan base is the UK.
That makes sense.
And then second place is Canada.
Okay. We're big.
And then after that, it just turns into kind of odds and ends and scattered bits here and there.
1 guy from Brazil, 2 guys from Germany.
I'll have to look. I haven't checked the metrics on Podbean in a while. I need to check the metrics on YouTube, frankly, to see what these things are doing more so than what's going on with Podbean.
Isn't there an abnormal amount of listeners from Pawtucket?
No.
Come on.
No, there actually if you Podbean will break it down by state, and our two of our three biggest states are California and Rhode Island. Yes.
There you go.
So,
and our third biggest state is drunken.
It don't hurt.
Hey, whatever makes the show better.
Or doesn't make it noticeably worse. Like, I don't know. Adds to that train wreck quality that we get sometimes. So I guess the official "What's on Joe Mind" first response on Operation Blackout is enjoy it for what it is. It's a throwaway game that's connected to our action figure line, and it's just nice to see some product in stores.
Yeah. If I had to sum up my review of the game, it's
I'll get it eventually. I do have an Xbox One. It's really my kid's, and she uses it a lot. But if I had a game to play on it, I probably could use it. Once I did watch a playthrough that was posted on YouTube. I kind of skipped around, and I mean they used a lot of the classified series character designs in the game, and my first thought is this a hint of the designs for some future classified series releases? Second thought is that purple hair on the Baroness. Yikes! But it's
don't get Weber started.
Yeah.
Whoa! I mean, obviously they were going that way. The art on the back of Classified is not just reflection. They were gonna go with purple hair.
Yeah, and it's not. I mean, I could imagine a universe in which a little bit of purple in the Baroness hair would be cool, but the way it looks in the game is terrible.
Yeah.
It doesn't look good at all. But it looked like just kind of a shoot 'em up game with G.I. Joe characters. It seemed pretty basic, but I'd probably enjoy it if I gave it a try. But yeah, I just haven't had time to really I haven't had time to get it, and even if I had time to get it, I haven't had time to play it yet.
Right. Somebody, Brian Lang in the comments says Operation Blackout, the chest cut of video games.
Come on now. It's not that bad.
That's brutal.
There it is. And let's give credit to Lenny Panzica, who's the lead in the design on Classified. Because at some point, somebody decided, you know what, we're not doing the purple hair. And, I don't have any inside baseball here, but Lenny's a talent. And I'm going to, even if it wasn't him, I'm giving him credit. Because the Baroness is the best Classified figure yet, I think, hands down.
It's great.
Purple hair would have sucked. Purple hair would have made me go buy black paint. So even if it wasn't you, Lenny, I love it, Lenny. Great work.
Whatever keeps you out of the craft store is okay. It's a good decision.
You don't want me getting crafty. No, that's a funny story. At Hasbro, whenever a marketer would pick up an X-Acto knife, it would cast a magic spell that would summon 3 designers instantly. You would pick up a knife, and 3 designers would appear around you like you were holding a bomb. And they'd go, okay, what do you need? What are you trying to do? And how can I help you with it? And it was a rightly deserved albatross for us poor marketers, because frequently we didn't know what we were doing, and we were about to cut ourselves on accident.
I mean, admit it though. You were really just picking up the X-Acto knives so that they would like pass you a briefcase with $100,000 in small unmarked bills.
Just once to see what would happen, I went over and picked up the spray mount, the glue in a can, and the fire alarm went off. No lie. It was like Danger, Will Robinson, everyone out.
Beautiful.
I never tried it again. I thought that was too much power for one man to have.
That's a little too strong of an omen. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Our second big news item. It's kind of our own doing, and so in the past week, our good friend of the program, Terry Dizard, who is the admin of yojo.com.
Yeah.
He got on his Facebook and posted some rather distressing news about the future of the site. yojo.com, the venerable information hub, and it's the site that most of our online fandom spirals out from. But either some big changes are coming, or it might be going away, or it's just we don't know, and even he doesn't know, and he's somebody who should certainly be part of that process. And so, and I don't want to say we, because I don't want to put you guys on the hook for it, but I took that it was probably our time to just go and get something together so that people could at least make their feelings on yojo.com known to its owners, which is a company called Vertical Scope. We talked about Virtual JoeCon that we did back in May. The first episode that we did that week was with Terry, and it outlines the relationship there and the timeline there. So if you have any real in-depth questions, I would recommend go back, listen to that episode where we talked to Terry about yojo.com and the future of yojo.com. We do have the petition linked in our description down below. So if you would, please go and give us a signature. We need your help here. Now, mind you, no one here is really like, we don't have any. The petition is not a handful of magic beans. Like, we know that signing a petition doesn't mean that anything is necessarily going to happen that's going to be helpful or productive or what have you. But it is a great way to show support in a large scale for an operation. In this case, Terry's operation at yojo.com. I know there's been some confusion about the ownership lineage. Terry is not, nor has he ever been, the owner of yojo.com. He has been the administrator, not the owner. He has always worked for other people administrating that site. And so when we talk about, when the petition talks about Vertical Scope taking over in 2018, they didn't buy it from Terry. They bought it from somebody else who owned the site before that Terry also worked for. And so what we'll do here, let me take a few seconds. I have it shared, or I will be sharing it here in our other window.
There we go.
Ooh.
Sorcery.
And we will read along so that if you decide to sign, at least you know what you're getting into. But from the beginning, yojo.com has been the information hub of the G.I. Joe collecting community for over 2 decades. It has been an invaluable resource for lapsed collectors looking to get back into the hobby, new collectors trying to learn about the history of G.I. Joe, collectors trying to complete newly purchased figures and toys, and even non-collectors looking to relive the fun of their favorite toys from days gone by. For much of that time, yojo.com has been maintained by a dedicated and knowledgeable staff led by Administrator Terry Dizard and photographer Philip Donnelly. Its importance cannot be measured. yojo.com is a unique treasure in the toy and collectible community without peer or rival. Since Vertical Scope purchased yojo.com, they've frozen Terry, Phil, and staff out of the maintenance of the site. Recently, Terry has warned the G.I. Joe community on Facebook of Vertical Scope's unwillingness to grant him access to maintain the site, and has stated that he believes the site's information will soon be made unavailable, potentially to be transferred to a forum database or, in the worst-case scenario, perhaps deleted altogether. Regardless, Terry has been frozen out of the decision-making process on the site that he has helped build and maintain for 20 years and is admittedly only speculating at what could be on the horizon. Regardless, again, These scenarios leave us with a greatly diminished yojo.com functioning far below the standards of excellence that Terry, Phil, and the yojo.com staff has established over the years. This is a horrendous oversight on the part of Vertical Scope. When Vertical Scope purchased yojo.com, they didn't purchase just a message board. They purchased the hub of a vibrant and dedicated community. However, without the ability to provide site maintenance, yojo.com will wither and die as the G.I. Joe community continues to grow without it. Thankfully, a sensible solution is easily attainable. Vertical Scope could reinstate Terry Dizard's administrator permissions to yojo.com and continue to reap the benefits of their investment. With full access to the site, Terry, Phil, and their staff can return to providing the necessary heartbeat to a great fan community. Please don't let yojo.com die. Please join the cast of What's on Joe Mind and sign this petition to help save the greatest of all fan sites and resources. Knowing is half the battle, but it's our time to do our part in the other half. Thank you. Signed, me. So, again, if you have not been to the site, to the petition to sign it, please do so. If you have any questions, by all means, you can get a hold of us. Our contact information is down there as well. Like I said, we do have that episode we did with Terry back in May, which is not too old, which provides a lot of the background information that you're probably looking for if you have any of those questions. I guess it's tough to ask for questions from you guys because obviously we just read a petition. But Mark Weber, you've been on this from more than one angle. You're a fan now, but for a while you were the honcho. You were the guy that was the head of marketing for the entire G.I. Joe brand. How important was yojo.com as a resource for you when you were working on G.I. Joe?
I mean, it was, and even before that, because I've always been a collector, right? So when I first got internet in my home, it was one of my bookmarks back when I had to learn what a bookmark was on the internet. So, and I was kind of a lapsed collector through college, and so it helped me fill in. I remember a Desert Apache going up on eBay, and I was like, I never even knew they made an Apache. Apaches are great. And so I was like, you know what? I'm in. I don't care what it goes for. I'm in on this. And I researched it on Yojo, and I thought it was weird it didn't come with a pilot, but whatever. I'm getting me an Apache. And I think I spent $100 on that Apache back in like '99. But I knew what I was getting because I saw it on Yojo. And now I didn't know that, it was sized for a 3-year-old G.I. Joe figure, but I was still happy that I had it. Still have it, obviously. Yeah. You can fit a guy in there with his arms out of the cockpit, which is bad on a helicopter, but whatever.
You need to check out Brian's review on the Apache because frankly the art that he did for the thumbnail is worth it right by itself.
All right, I'm in because
it's beautiful. Look that one up.
I'm vested. But beyond as a fan, working on the brand, it couldn't be more valuable. Like I think most fandoms are kind of fragmented because hardly anybody likes everything. So, if you're we're all diehard G.I. Joe fans, right? But you can take something like Beast Wars in Transformers or Cobra La in G.I. Joe. There are some incredibly divisive elements with really passionate fans arguing the complete opposite thing. And, I'm a guy who hates Tiger Force. Hates it. But some people, it's their favorite sub-team ever. And I guess, long story long, fan bases generally don't totally agree on very much. But this is something the G.I. Joe fan base is universally agreed on, that yojo.com is easily the most valuable, the most critical, the most reliable information source on the internet for G.I. Joe and has been undisputed for more than 20 years. So, and two things, a credit to the fan base, because this only went up about 24 hours ago. And it has over 1,000 signatures already. That's really good. When we put up the fan-built bot poll on Transformers, my idea, I'm happy about that, that eventually became Windblade, a very important character in Transformers. When we initially put it up, we were letting fans choose from a bunch of different options on vehicle mode, weapon, Autobot or Decepticon, temperament, training, specialty, all that stuff. We did not include gender as an option. And I could say the fan base revolted, but it wasn't that powerful. It was a change.org petition with over 200 signatures overnight, and Hasbro paid attention to 200 signatures, which is, some, but not a ton. Like, I could get 200 signatures for, color Mark's hair purple, because purple hair is cool. But anyway, my point is, it made an impact, and we had meetings the next day on how to incorporate gender as a selectable option in this pool. So I'm pleased with the fan base for rallying to support this. It's a signature. It doesn't cost you anything. And I'm angry with certain members of the fan base who've posted up on Facebook, what's a petition going to do? Oh, it doesn't matter. Maybe they shouldn't have sold the site. Look, I get it if you're misinformed and didn't know that Terry didn't. There's this bit that makes it feel like, well, he shouldn't have sold the site. If this happened, it's because he sold the site, which is factually inaccurate. But the one that frustrates me is the people who will take the time to type, what's the petition going to do? This isn't going to change anything. You could have signed the petition in that time. And at the very least, even if it changes nothing, it is a show of support and a thank you to Terry and Philip and the rest of the staff over the years who worked their ass off to provide free of charge the most critical site to you, the fan. So, not to make a positive thing a frustrating experience, but show me a G.I. Joe fan who hasn't relied on yojo.com, and I'll show you a liar. So get over there, sign it, and let's show them the support that they've shown the community.
That's right. It doesn't cost anything. And frankly, the best gift you can give the staff of yojo.com is your +1. Is just tacking on to the end and making sure that you are counted in that number. Racktime Rob makes a point here. It gets you 2 more years of JoeCon. That's what a petition does. And if you've been a fan of our show for a long time, you know that Joe Colton did the same thing using our show as a base a few years ago. When we found out that JoeCon was going away, we rallied up and we got over 5,000 signatures on that petition. And, maybe 2 years of JoeCon doesn't mean that much to you. But for those of us who go, for those who didn't get a chance to go and did, thanks to that 2-year extension, that's a lot of memories. That's a chance for closure. It's a chance to say goodbye. It's a chance to get some more great product from the Collectors Club. I mean, it provided a lot. So, again, the best thing you can do is get everybody who's a fan and make the number of people who are attached to this petition as big as possible. Can't promise you any results from it, but for the effort it takes just to put your name down, it's worth it for the what ifs. If nothing comes of it, you didn't work that hard, right, to worry about what you lost. No one's going to come around because your petition didn't do any good. No one's going to come to your house and point at you and laugh Nelson Muntz style. It's not going to happen. Nobody, if it doesn't work, nobody cares. But if it does work, you're part of something special. You're part of saving this extremely valuable resource that tens of thousands of man hours have worked to build. So, yeah, it's a big deal. That little bit of effort that you put into getting your name on there is a huge deal.
I saw some Yahoo said, if it goes away, someone will build a new one. Yeah, who? You?
I mean, eventually, maybe 20 years from now.
Yeah.
Bryan, you have any input here?
Yeah, I use yojo.com every day, and that's not an exaggeration. When I'm putting together a video, the first place I go is yojo.com to get the basic information that I need to get a review started. And I was one of those lapsed collectors as well. Years and years before I started collecting, I searched the internet because I wanted to find some place where I could look at these toys that I had as a kid, and the place I landed was yojo.com, and it had everything that I remembered. And I remember long before I even got back into collecting, I remember spending hours on that site just looking at all the stuff that I remembered. And I think it's fair to point out that with new video game, with new toys, with Snake Eyes movie coming out eventually, there are going to be a lot more people Googling G.I. Joe. And if the first site they landed on was yojo.com, that's a really good first impression. Because they do an excellent job laying out the history of the line in a way that's understandable, in a way that's accessible, and in a way that can be enjoyed by the hardcore fans and the people doing research, and by just people who don't know about it and want to find out. I think it's a fantastic site. It would be a shame if we didn't have it. And somebody else making one, if this site goes away, that is, I think people underestimate maybe what a monumental task that would be. So yojo.com is vitally important to me, and anything that I could do to make sure that it sticks around, I would be happy to do. And if it's a signature, you easily get a signature from me. If there's anything more than I can do, we need yojo.com. It's just too valuable.
So to answer the question that's up here, and for everybody listening at home, make sure have some questions ready. We've got a few extra minutes. So we're going to take questions for a change. We haven't done that for a couple of weeks. I wanted to make sure we got a little bit of that in tonight. But Matt Rubin asks, are we allowed to share the petition to our own social media and Facebook groups? I wouldn't want to step on anyone's toes. No, dude. Share, and share some more. Yeah. Share it everywhere you can. Everywhere you want to, you go for it. Like I said, the goal here is to accumulate as big a number of signatures as we can in as quick a time as possible, obviously, because we do have a little bit of time, from what I understand. But, the more this piles up, the faster it piles up, the better it looks. So, yeah, you go ahead. You share it every place you think is appropriate, and maybe a few that you think is inappropriate.
Right.
Just not wildly inappropriate.
Yeah, not those sites.
Yeah. Although, hey, if they sign,
hey, I'm not judging. Yeah. If they like Joe's, come on board.
You're in. Yeah, you're in. You're in.
Your signature counts too.
We are in. So I am looking to pull some questions. So yeah, we'll touch it again. Again, you can find the link to the petition down below in the description. While you're down there, please make sure to like, share, subscribe, and leave a comment for us, because that helps get us spread around. And like I said, every week we pick up a couple more subscribers. So it's doing some work. We're getting out there and people are watching us, but we still need your help there too.
Mike, while you're cruising for questions, I saw
Yes.
one that I think I'm uniquely qualified to answer.
Okay.
I didn't catch the name, but a gentleman said, do you have any problem with Hasbro Pulse kind of passerbys having to wait 3 or 4 months for their Supreme Snake Cobra Commander while the subscribers already have theirs in hand? And I know a guy who's a subscriber who already has his, and I know another guy who is not a subscriber and has to wait till next spring. And I can tell you, I got no problem with that at all. The guys who and gals who subscribe should get some benefit for supporting that site, fiscally. I got no problem with that. And I guess I'm at the stage of my collecting where if it's something I want to have it. But I haven't had any pre-orders get canceled. So as long as I know mine's reserved at some point, I got no problem waiting for it. If I don't want to wait for it, maybe I should become a subscriber. I think there's nothing wrong with that. And I think you need to have some kind of benefit. I didn't have any problem with Mike having a day's early access to the exclusives. That should be part of paying to be in a club that he's in and I'm not. So I'm totally cool with it. And if I were still involved with the brand, I would absolutely support that. I think it's good business.
First question from Nyquist75. Any major differences in the new HISS tank? Outside of the driver, no. The build on the driver is pretty significantly different from the 25th anniversary, but the HISS tank itself is more or less a copy of the 25th anniversary HISS tank. No real changes there. There may be some real simple cosmetic ones to the stickers. I don't know. I haven't sat down and looked at them both side by side to compare in any real detail. Like I said a couple of weeks ago, Rack Time Rob picked one up at the local Walmart, and except for the driver, it looks exactly the same as the 25th.
And I'll throw a hot take at old Hooded Cobra Commander there. Best HISS driver ever is this guy. Your response?
I think I would like to say that that's true, but I can't find them locally. I cannot find them. I'd like to see it for myself, but I go to every Walmart in this area. All I see are empty pegs, empty shelves, empty pegs, empty shelves. So I would love to confirm or deny your claim, but I can't find the damn thing.
Phil Donnelly, a member of the staff of yojo.com.
Phil Donnelly, ladies and gentlemen. Phil Donnelly.
The HISS tank has some sticker placement differences, and the sculpted detail on the gun mount is now gone. So there you go. There's your differences between the two HISS tanks.
You see that right there? You didn't even know that was coming, but yojo.com still providing you information without access to their own site.
Mark's head is going to explode. He's like the crazy Eddie guy up there.
These
prices are insane.
I got pushed to the edge by the guys who were like, "Oh, I can't sign that. It's not going to do anything." Jackass.
We'll put a fingertip there. We won't tell you what finger that is.
Beer.
Ike's figured out how to stick up his ring finger and not anything else. Anyhow, how many retro figures do you think we will get with all the pre-order issues Walmart seems to be having?
Ooh, I know the answer. How many retro figures? None. Not a single one.
Look, Mark. In fairness to Matt Rubin, he did put retro in quotes.
Fair.
Retro is in quotes, so we do have to answer this legitimately. Now Walmart's retro. I don't think the pre-order problems are going to make one hill of beans worth of difference to how many Walmart has signed up for. So long as they sell, Walmart doesn't care. Same thing with Target and the Cobra Island line. they're not interested in how upset we are at the distribution on these things. They're putting them in the store and they're selling out immediately, so they're happy. And if they keep selling out immediately, they're going to continue to be happy, and you would think just get more. So the fact that I know, and we diverged a little bit. I think like that Target Cobra Island run, we're poised to see Target Cobra Island exclusives until what, 2029 at this point. That is it. Sugar, sign us up for more.
At least Roadblock.
Bring 'em.
Right? You're going to see Roadblock till 2029.
You're going to see a rainbow's worth of Roadblocks. As far as the Walmart retro figures, I don't think they're quite as hot, but it's tough for me to say because I can't say I've spent a lot of time looking for them. Brian, you said you're not finding them in your area?
I'm not, and I don't know that they're not being stocked or if they are just disappearing the moment they go on the pegs or on the shelves. But I can't get them. I cannot get my hands on them. I've tried every Walmart in this area, and they're just gone. And I'm definitely not as keen on the retro line as the classified series, but I was going to probably pick up a His Tank if I could find one, so that I could see what the differences are, which now I guess I don't have to because now we know.
And knowing is half the battle.
It is. The other half is trying to find the damn things at Walmart, which is not working for me. So this is what it is frustrating to me, and it kind of kills the thrill of the hunt, because I feel like all I'm hunting right now are empty pegs. So yeah, I mean, great for Walmart, great for Hasbro if they are actually jumping off the shelves that fast. Not so great for me. So I can tell you how many retro figures I will be getting, whether they're called retro or not. That many.
Yeah. I have seen, and I haven't stocked the toy aisles, but I've been in my Target and my Walmart pretty regularly. Actually, on the peg this year, all I've seen is Cobra Island Roadblock. That's it. I had to stalk a guy to bring out the case that got me my Baroness.
Mm-hmm.
I got, actually, this guy's beachhead at a middle of the night, bring it out to my car order.
A clandestine raid.
Right? Yeah, it was awesome. Raid on Cobra Island. But
many thanks for that, Mark Weber.
Yeah. Well, it was Beach Party 86 Part 2. There he is.
Beach Party 2020.
Looking so good. But there's two schools of thought here, and something Todd McFarlane said, pardon me while I name drop, is he'd rather make 10 too few than one too many. So he always believed in the power of scarcity, and you don't want your toy line to be viewed as cooling off. Better to leave a couple sales out there than overburden the retailer. And I get that. I generally agree with it. But for something like Joe that's been so dormant, and for a line that from a design perspective is made to appeal to kids as well as dedicated collectors, not even having them on the pegs is a real misunderstanding of the popularity of the brand. And you don't get another shot to relaunch the brand. So I get that they were, being conservative with it, but especially given how the early sales were, I would have thought they would have reacted a little differently for the fall line. And I have absolutely given Hasbro a lot of credit for rebuilding this year's line, because obviously once the Snake Eyes movie moved out, they had to juggle a lot of things.
Yeah.
But I think they have missed an opportunity to grow the brand this year, in a year when toys actually didn't suffer much. One of the few industries that didn't suffer COVID-19. And in terms of sales,
yes. In terms of sales, yes, it did not suffer a whole lot, but there is still a 4-month wide hole in the production side of things that's tough to make up for. So that might be playing a part of it too. You know, there just hasn't necessarily been enough time that's passed since all these factories are back to work. We don't know if these figures are coming again. We don't know if there's reissues or what there's going to be reissues of. So it's important to not get into fall into the trap of looking back too soon. Mm-hmm. Like we're not far enough removed from this situation to really have accurate hindsight on it. And I think that's probably more something we can look at this time next year. You know, if that first wave of Cobra Island figures, for example, if we don't see them again, mm-hmm. like that's a problem. Like not getting the Baroness in fans' hands is a problem. Not getting Beachhead out there for fans is a problem. They've already reissued the Cobra Trooper, right?
Sort of.
So yeah, sort of. But for the most part, like I can't think of anybody being so distraught at the thought of only getting the general issue Cobra Soldier that, you know, like I understand wanting one of the Cobra Island anyway, but like I don't think anybody who wanted to army build those is as stressed out about needing to army build those anymore.
No, and I was a guy who wanted 6 when I first saw them, and I have 1 thanks to ML Series. But I agree. If you couldn't army build them, deal with it. Right? You've got a very good version coming out soon that we think you can. But for the completist, and there's a lot of them out there, it shouldn't be this hard to get 1.
I agree. That's my issue. Is like I get the idea of you don't want to overproduce. It's better to underproduce. But if it could, I'm glad that it sells out fast. But if it could sell out maybe in 10 minutes instead of 5 minutes, so I would have at least a chance, you know, that I would appreciate. But yeah, I know a lot of people who were not able to get the Baroness and were not able to get the Cobra Trooper, and fortunately Cobra Trooper is coming out again, but it's looking like now if you want a Baroness, you're going to have to turn to the aftermarket for it, where the prices are insane.
They do look like they're done with Wave 1 of Cobra Island.
Yeah. So yes, we need a little bit more time and distance to get the proper hindsight. I feel like my hindsight will just be empty pegs. That's all that's going to be back there. Just a empty peg after empty peg.
I mean, you do live in Oklahoma.
It is true. But hey, we like our armed forces out here. You'd think they'd be flooding us with the G.I. Joes, but you can't find the G.I. Joes here.
So the question, is the problem how many Hasbro is producing or how much Walmart and Target are ordering? Walmart and Target own a large percentage of the U.S. shelves. And this is a great question. My take is that Target and Walmart are picking up what's being shipped out. I think Hasbro greatly underestimated the popularity of G.I. Joe Classified.
Yeah, I mean, and speaking with, you know, a little experience here, you're not going to give Walmart or Target more than they're willing to take. But they are absolutely, or at least used to, listen to the brand team and their suggestion about how hot they think a certain exclusive will be. So if it's the way it used to be, and I haven't been there in 5 years, if it's the way it used to be, then the Target or Walmart guy or gal would have talked to the person on the exclusives team who would have met with the brand team about how hot is this thing, because we certainly don't want to swamp them with it, or they won't want more exclusives. But what's a safe number that we can recommend to them that will get it sold out at a thrift place? And obviously they misunderstood the heat that these exclusives were going to have, and just basic construction problems, right? Putting out a troop builder as a low print store exclusive, right? The Baroness, an absolutely critical, beloved figure, as a high ticket, low print item as a store exclusive. There's just, as much as we make fun of Roadblock, that's the kind of thing that should be an exclusive. Something that is cool, that is different, that doesn't require a lot of individual tooling, but that won't break anybody's soul if they can't find it. Yeah. That's what an exclusive should be. And by and large, it's what they usually are from Hasbro. They usually have their finger on the pulse, bad pun, on the pulse here a little more acutely. So,
yeah, I think really that's a hallmark of the entire line at this point. Like we're talking about the Target, you're talking about the Target exclusives. There aren't a whole lot of the regular issue Joes to be found on shelves.
No. Yeah, I'm not finding those anymore either. Those are, evaporated.
Like I said, there's a 4-month hole in the production of these things that we just haven't made up for entirely yet. So it's difficult. I hope it gets a little better as we get closer to Christmas and the end of the year. I imagine that things will be much better in 2021 now that everybody's got a better handle on what kind of a project G.I. Joe is going to be. Because this just didn't hit Joe fans. All of a sudden, those casual fans that maybe moved into Marvel Legends, they're back with a vengeance. Because the Star Wars Black Series lost a lot of steam, and those folks are looking for something to collect in that scale. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, G.I. Joe's hot. G.I. Joe is legitimately hot. Mm-hmm. So, anyhow, that's about what we got time for this week. We'll pass it around here. Brian, what'd you get in, man?
What did I get in? Well, hold on. I'll show you. Oh,
okay.
Hang on. I'll show you.
Okay.
I got a mail away. I got a mail away. A Cobra Wolf.
Nice.
With the different colored things on it. So I got that. Oh, hold on. I got a Hall of Fame Snake Eyes.
Cool.
Why did I get a Hall of Fame Snake Eyes, you axe? Well, don't axe. I just got one.
I assume it's for the ridiculous dog tags.
Yeah, he's got. Yeah, I mean they're a little oversized, but this way you don't lose them. And when he inevitably bites the dust, somebody will be able to find him.
You see too many movies where the dog tags block a bullet, right?
Yeah, that's it.
I'm taking no.
But hey, they are shiny. These would actually block a laser, so they're functional. But that's about all I've gotten in lately. But I was happy to finally get this thing. It's
Mark Weber.
Oh, this is a good one. Thanks to my friends at the network, I got in my Cobra Commander.
Yay!
Who is, as we knew, not light blue. But when all that went down and people were deciding whether or not to support this or not, when it wasn't going to be the color that was shown, my rationale was, I think I had $5 off, so it was 15, not $20. That's cool. But I thought, well, they've messed it up enough right now. There's a good chance this will come out crimson. So I may as well get that order in just in case. So got my thing in here. And most importantly, let's get this up here. See that app right there? Now that it's in my hot little hands, we can just do what every other Joe fan has done and boop! Buy network. Don't do Joe. Thanks for coming. Thanks for playing. Here we go. Let's get it official. Delete network. Yep. It's going.
Bye.
Oh, there we go.
And don't try to sell Joe's again. It's out above your pay grade. Sucker.
Love it. Oh. What else you got, Mark?
Isn't that enough? I just guillotined an app live. We haven't done that before. That's called original content, baby.
I think this is an apt time for the catchphrase. What's important is you're not bitter.
No. Look, I don't want people to take it the wrong way that I'm getting this much joy out of taking my network app and making it diluted off of my phone. Sucker.
Well, this is what I got in this week.
Oh, cool.
Little beachhead pop action from my local Target store. He's pretty cool. I like him okay because he, there's like Beachhead doesn't show a lot of his face anyway, so he looks kind of like he's supposed to look. He's got a nice little piece of art of the old card art on the back, so you can see what you're actually based on there. And so he's all right for my pop collection of 2.
Right. How's the crotch?
How's that?
How's the crotch on old Beachhead there?
It is complete. It is intact.
Good.
So that makes him a step above most of the 86 figures that's still out there. But it brings us down to shout-outs. Bryan Lower, who are we shouting out to this week?
I only have 2 shout-outs, and that's to Mr. Mike Irizarry and to Mr. Mark Weber for having me on the show. Thank you. I really enjoyed it. I can never replace Joe Colton, but I'm happy to just fill the space until she comes back. So that's all I've got this time.
So you're going to make her seat on the couch all warm.
Yes.
That's going to tick her off. That'll make us laugh. Mark Weber, shout outs.
Shout out to, God, never shouted out to before. One of my teachers, Arlie Seams, my 5th grade teacher. Favorite teacher ever. Guy who kind of showed me the kind of man I wanted to be. So let's give it up for Arlie Seams and all along the route to all the teachers out there. Talk about essential workers. And, I would have beat this drum last year, but this year especially, that had to adapt so quickly to the distance learning, and they have been through a lot, and they're already underappreciated and underfunded. So, hug it. Well, don't hug a teacher right now, but I hope that's my biggest hope coming out of whenever we do happen to get out of the COVID-19 pandemic, is that we all have a better respect for some of the professions that didn't get enough. And that goes all the way down to the guys who come to pick up recycling. Because if they had just stopped picking up recycling, Jesus, I don't know where all that stuff would have gone, right? Yeah. Like there are essential jobs that I think all of us don't actually think about because they're so consistent, right? And teachers belong right at the top of that list. So for Arlie Seams and to all the school teachers out there, thank you. You don't hear it enough, but thanks.
And for me, shout outs, of course, Rack Time Rob, who happens to be a teacher.
That's right. I already said that.
I know. I'm throwing them in there. I'm trying to make your list, give it that personal touch.
Okay, because I didn't.
Give a special shout out, of course, to our co-hostess with the co-mostess, Joe Colton, and the wrist lock, as they will be getting married on Saturday.
Yeah.
Mr. Weber and I will be in attendance via Zoom.
Oh, I'm going to wear a nice tie, my silver suit jacket, and no pants.
No pants.
No pants.
It looks it's you got to keep some of the cornerstones of the relationship of your friendship with Joe intact.
Yeah, and I can't wait to see him become Wes Colton.
Man, come on. Don't be dissing the wrist lock.
No.
He's going to quit sharing C-Nugs MP3s with us.
Look, let's give it up to Wes Whitlock, right? You know how many G.I. Joe fans were chasing around Joe Colton as somebody cool, smart, funny, pretty, who loves G.I. Joe? Catch of the year, right? And only one guy reeled her in. Wes Whitlock, ladies and gentlemen. Wes Whitlock.
The wrist lock.
Yeah.
Double dip your C-Nugs in observance.
Yeah.
And lastly, of course, a shout out to our special guest, Bryan Lower. Bryan, what's that name of your YouTube channel one more time?
You can find it under Hooded Cobra Commander 788 or shortened to HCC 788.
That's right. Be sure to check him out after you've checked out our entire library, and don't you dare cut it short because we'll know.
Yeah, we will.
We will.
I have. I've checked out their entire library. I have.
He has. It's true.
Yeah. Yeah.
And of course, a shout out to everybody who participated in the fun tonight. If we did not get to your question, I know there's got to be a few of them in there that we missed. It's a lot to cover in an hour and a half. Our contact information is down there. Don't be afraid to send us an email. You send us an email, you're going to get on a post-sac episode. So, I mean, post-sac is darn near a guarantee. If it's something that's appropriate to be read on air, we're going to get it for you.
And if it's not, Joe will read it in creepy fanboy messages from Loser Town.
Correct. If it's one of those,
yeah,
we will name names. But
oh, hey, Mike, I forgot. Shout out Terry Desard, Philip Donnelly, and all the staff from yojo.com over the years.
That's where we were going.
Check out the petition, sign the petition. And if it's too much work to sign the petition, don't type and complain about it.
There you go.
Hate that.
So keep in mind, folks, we are in the middle of a pandemic still. So make sure you're taking good care of yourselves out there. Get enough sleep. Drink your juices. Get your vitamin C. Wear your mask.
Yeah. And
just exhibit your freedom of choice. And choose to keep the people around you healthy as you keep yourself healthy. We are maybe 3 weeks away from Election Day. So if most places, early voting is open, take some time, get yourself out and beat the rush. That way, if you vote early, you're going to miss the crowd that could potentially get you sick. So, hey. Right there, Rack Time Rob spent his day today voting early. Mine was sent in a mailbox last week. So you got to get in there, just like signing our petition. Make sure your voice is heard in the really important stuff. Just otherwise, be good to one another. Yeah. Be kind out there. We're all having a rough time with 2020. So just take a minute and recognize if somebody cuts you off in traffic, if somebody, buys the last G.I. Joe off the rack before you can get there, just stop and think. There's probably something that didn't go so well for them today too. And just show a little kindness, show a little grace, and show a little respect. And that about wraps it up. For What's on Joe Mind, my hosts, Bryan Lower, Mark Weber, I'm Mike Irizarry. Good night. Have a great rest of the week. We'll catch you next Thursday at 9 here on What's on Joe Mind on YouTube.
Beer.